EVO.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to Finding Me, episode number 14. I am Josh Wolf. Thank you so much for being here on this daily podcast / journal where, man, over the past, however, I'm 56, but over the past probably 6 years or so, I've been trying to change things about me that I don't like, authenticity, accountability, and I've tried many different things to try to improve in those areas, and my old habits of, starting and things and stopping and, having 10 things going at once and, telling little white lies in conversation to try to make myself more interesting. All those things kept creeping back in. And so the one thing I do hold myself accountable for is other people. So journals didn't work because that was just me. So I was like, I'm just going to start this video journal every day, 15 minutes, to see if this won't help hold myself accountable to making the changes in myself that I'm looking to make. I need to remind myself every day, just like a lot of people, that I am enough. That there is only one of me, man. There's only one of you. And that one person is enough. You don't have to try to be somebody else. You don't have to try to be, more important or more interesting. You are who you are. And there is no other person like that. And what I'm finding is the more I sink into being myself, the happier I am. The more I stop pretending, but the more I stop trying to impress, or you stop trying, I don't want to do this because I don't want to, no, all that stuff. When I'm true to myself, I'm happy. And so that's what this podcast is. Right now, I'm fiddling with how we do it every day, but right now we're theming this week health, and there are a couple things I want to share with you at the end of the podcast, so stick around for that. But right now we're talking about the mold and the mold sickness and the mold poisoning, and as Beth and I call it, the mold run. Where it depends on which one of us you ask, but I think it was between 15 and 17 different places in a year or so. Crazy. And yesterday we left off, we were on our mold run. And like I said, it's at one point had 5 different leases open at once. I want to let you know that this stretch, when we first started this stretch of the mold run, it actually galvanized Beth and I. It brought us together, where we realized that the only important thing was us and being healthy. And then after that, everything else would fall into place. But you really can't focus on anything. When you're unhealthy, when your health is not well, you can't focus on anything else. It's impossible. For me, anyways. I can't focus on anything else. I can't get anything else done. Health, like when you're sick, you're like, I got to get fucking better. It's so hard to focus in on anything else. It's one of the reasons why I started leaning Eastern medicine more than Western medicine for a lot of things, because Eastern medicine was trying to get the root of the problem so it never happened again. And Western medicine was really just putting a Band-Aid on it, and getting you with medications or whatever. And I wanted to get to the point where I didn't need medications. So it really galvanizes, man. And because we were eating the same weird no mold diet, we couldn't go into the same places. You know what I mean? We had just gone through the same traumatic thing together. But as the year went on, and as we were moving from place to place, and I was still traveling, it was starting to wear on us and our relationship. When you move that many times, I'm trying to think in that year, because some of the places that I'm counting that we lived, we went back to because they were hotels that we knew that we could stay in until we found a new place. That doesn't count how many times we moved, really. Do you know what I'm saying? So we stayed at this one hotel, the Kimpton, probably in that year. I would say it's got to be 8 different stays plus some Airbnbs. And those 8 different stays lasted, but all that moving and all that uncertainty about our health and how we were going to live and where we were going to live, and would we ever find a place that was mold free? Would we ever be mold free? Would our health be okay? Was starting to wear on us. We were fighting in a way that we had never fought before. Never. There was actually one time we were at this place and I was on the phone with my mom and I was walking. Beth and I had just gotten in a fight. And I had walked out of the place and I was going to walk down and just get a coffee, tea somewhere. And because I couldn't drink coffee because of the mold. And I was on with my mom, but I forgot I had my Bluetooth on. And so Beth pulled out of the garage and my conversation with my mom ended up in the car for a little bit. And I was telling her, I don't know how much more. I don't know how much longer we're going to be able to do this together. Like, it's not, I don't know many people who could survive, the couples that could survive that, what we were going through, the intense. And it was just always, and we were both in a spot where we were never looking at the positive. It was such constant negative news, our whole, and we're both pretty positive people. It was just all negative and all change and all moving. And I blamed a lot more on her than I should have. And it was a really, really tough time for us. And we finally found a place after moving a gazillion times. And this is, I think we found it probably the December before COVID. When did we move in October? October before COVID. And it was this place down on Curson in West Hollywood, in between Beverly and Melrose. A great neighborhood. I'd always wanted to actually live in that neighborhood. Brand new, clean, no mold. I remember getting in there and really thinking, well, this is probably, we either make it out of here together or we don't. We either make it out of here or we don't. And
you
honestly, if COVID hadn't happened, I think COVID saved our marriage. Because leading up to it, it was brutal. We had spent so much money on deposits and apartments and moving companies and movers and eating out because we didn't have a place and all this stuff, right? We had the financial strain of that year, which, I mean, finances fucks with a lot of relationships, but the combination of the health, the uncertainty, and the finances, we were spiraling. And we found this place, but I was still traveling, right? So, and my traveling schedule, Beth is an amazing person, but my travel schedule is not easy. And, the day I get back, I'm tired. My deal with her is I'll always take the last flight out and the first flight back so we can spend as much time together as we can. But that also is exhausting in my body. And I'm taking a red eye out and a 6 a.m. back every week. So I always sleep that day, I get back. And then the day I leave is me packing and shit. And so that really left 2 days a week for a relationship that was struggling. And there's a readjustment period. And we were not certain with each other, So when COVID came, leading up to COVID, it was dicey. When COVID came, we had a chance to actually reintroduce ourselves to each other. I had a chance to get out of the constant road gig, travel, pack, unpack, all that shit. And be honest, man, when I'm on the road, I don't check with people to see when I'm leaving the house or when I'm eating or what I'm watching on TV. So it's not easy for either one of us, the adjustment. When I come back, I'm used to living like that. And quite frankly, she's used to living like that too, but at the house. So I come back and she's got her patterns and behaviors and routine at the house that she has for 4 days a week with just her. And I would come in and fuck all that up, And we got back, when COVID started, we made sure that we just got back to routine and with each other and talking and having breakfast together and cooking dinner together. And and COVID forced it, but we took advantage of it. I slept. That constant in and out changes the energy in the house. There was a calmness. Don't get me wrong. There were a couple months there where we still were going at each other pretty good, but eventually, and we were getting the mold out of our bodies. So all the anxiety and the paranoia and the brain on fire that I was feeling, that was going away, which made me easier to deal with. And the same with her. She had this, and she didn't have the brain on fire, but she had the paranoia. She couldn't sleep. She was anxious, sick all the time, And it was all like one perfect storm of good for us. The negative talk started to go away. The complaining started to go away. Enjoying time together
came back.
Enjoying time together came back. And, it was kind of like we were reminded of why we loved each other. But if we had never gotten healthy on the inside, if our brains hadn't started working again, if we hadn't cleared our bodies up of the things that weren't letting us think of other things, we would have never survived. And that was when I was like,
Guys, I'm sorry, but this will be
Last week with this
fucking roadcaster. Makes no fucking sense. It's like I said, I'm really trying. Part of me wants to keep it because it tests my patience, but it drives me fucking batty. Anyways, if we had never, that's when I was like, oh, I need to be healthy. I need to figure out health first and foremost. We need to be healthy. That's the first thing that she and I, every day, every morning, but we need to do the things that we know we need to do to stay healthy. Oh, I am a mold Nazi, dude. I don't fuck about it at all. He asked Jacob, we'll walk into a hotel room and I'll be like, no, we're not staying there. into a restaurant, no, we're not staying there. I won't even, I used to think, man, I'll just do a night. No. I would wake up in the morning sneezing, itchy, and it could be psychosomatic. Who the fuck knows? But right when we started to get right with each other, and I realized how important health was, not just for me personally, but for our relationship, how important health was for my business, how important health is numero uno. Got to put your oxygen mask on first. And so that's how I make choices in my life. That mold taught me so much. That mold taught me, one, when we left the house, it taught me that stuff is just stuff and replaceable. And two, it taught me life is not life without health. It just isn't. For me, it could be for anybody else. Doesn't matter. For me, life is not life without health. I don't want to wake up and not feel good. I don't want to wake up and feel sluggish. I don't want to eat a meal and feel like I have to go to sleep. I don't want to breathe heavy when I'm walking up the stairs. I don't want my knees to ache. I don't want and people are like, well, that just happens, but it doesn't have to. But it doesn't have to. And that's what I decided. I'm going to be healthy. As much in my control as I can be, I'm going to be fucking healthy. So that is what the mold taught me. And I'll tell you something. This is what I wanted to tell you at the end of the pod, and then I got to get out of here. But I spent the last couple of days with my parents, man. And I look at them, dude. They're in their late 80s, these motherfuckers. Late 80s. Still sharp as a tack. Both of them, sharp. Both of them getting around. Like, and to see that quality of life and still traveling to see me, still traveling to see my brothers in LA. You know what I mean? They both still drive. I mean, my mom's always only driven 20 miles an hour anyway, so that's not a problem. But this is the goal. That's how I want to be with my kids and my grandkids. And so it just kind of put a button on it. By the way, I was in their hotel lobby today, and I didn't want to use their bathroom, you know. So I was like, you guys go up to the room, and I'm going to use the bathroom in the lobby. And my dad was like, you can use our bathroom. I was like, nah, not a good idea. You know, probably not a good idea. And I went into the lobby bathroom. This always makes me laugh. And I'm in a stall, and I hear the door open. And some maybe 6-year-old kid tries to open the stall and then peeks his head under the stall. And he goes, hey. And I was like, hey. And he goes, how long do you think you're going to be in here? And I was like, you should go to the bathroom in your room, dude, and maybe get your head out from under the stall. Anyways, tomorrow, I'm just going to give you'll see what happens tomorrow. But that's kind of a quick little recap of our mold run. Tomorrow I'll get us to Nashville. And then I think next week, I'll tell you tomorrow what I'm going to talk about next week. Next week is going to be a tough week for me to get into this stuff. But I'm hoping it helps. I think next week is the one I'm most scared about. Let's read it. I'm gripping my fingers. But I'm looking forward to getting into this next week. Guys, thank you so much for being here. This is Finding Me. Listen to me. You are enough, man. And it's so funny. It's like whenever I get into something serious, the roadcaster pops on. Just remind me, you are enough. This is what I tell myself. I got to tell myself every day. I've started to talk to myself about the things that I am grateful for. things that I'm grateful that I do have, not the things that I don't have. There's so many things I don't have, but there are so many more that I do. And the things that I do have are so much more important than the things that I don't. And I've been trying to remind myself of those things every day. And I want you to do the same. Man, we got one ride on this rock. How you want to spend it? You want to be angry on the internet all day? You want to make a difference? You want to yell at strangers? You want to find some joy? You know what I mean? And so I want you to know I'm rooting for you, just like I'm rooting for me. I want everybody to be happy. So enjoy your day. I'll talk to you tomorrow. I'm Josh Wolf. This is Finding.